Pompey Sound. Updates, the latest from Fratton Park, on the hour, every hour. Fueled by Piglet's Pantry. Click pigletspantry.co.uk to get your fill.
Dan Shaw is offering his views on the Pompey news right across the output of Pompey Sound. And I put it to him, had I dreamed it, or are Pompey being linked with Danny Ings?
Is that right? I hadn't heard that. Well, there you go again, Danny Ings. You could look from a few ways. First and foremost, he's born in Winchester and is very much someone who bleeds red and white.
Yeah.
Doesn't sit well with me. Some people wouldn't care. That said, that guy, as much as I hate to admit it, is a very, very good striker. And I would be delighted to see him play for Pompey. Unfortunately, I don't see that happening. I would imagine he would want far more money than Pompey could ever dream of offering to him. I'm surprised actually the likes of Wrexham haven't tried to sign him, to be quite honest, or Birmingham, teams with what we would consider proper money with large aspirations, because I think that, he must be getting on a bit now, Danny Ings. I don't know quite how old he is.
I think he's 32. I think he's 32.
Oh, is that what he is? Oh, wow. Well, then he's worth a 2 or 3 year deal of anyone's money, isn't he, in the Championship, for sure. Who knows, maybe someone like Wrexham or the likes will come in for him.
Dan Shaw on the possibility of Pompey hiring Danny Ings to go alongside Colby Bishop. Dream on, but it's good to dream. You can hear all of Dan's views right across the output on Pompey Sound, or you can download his podcast of his piece on Pompey Sound if you go to your podcast provider and search Pompey Sound. After the Farnborough friendly, John Messino is tackled on how is Nathan Ferguson getting on in his extended trial for us. He had a total of 90 minutes over the 2 evenings.
Nothing's changed really in terms of where Nathan's at. We're still having a look at him. It's been really useful for Nathan to be with us from both perspectives. So mutually beneficial in terms of us having a look at Nath getting the minutes. The first time Nath's played in a long time as well in a sort of semi-competitive fixture. So really good for him, and we'll keep monitoring that over I guess over the next week or so. We'll play Crawley and then see where we are after that. So regardless of what happens, Nate's had a really good sort of stint training first of all. So he'd actually trained with us at the back end of last season. So I think overall now he's been training for about 6 months and fit for a lot longer than that. First 90 minutes of football over 2 days for a long time for him. So getting through that's really important. And clearly with some of the injuries that we've got at the moment and the fact that Nate's come in and he's done well, it's really good to have a look at him tonight.
It's estimated that footballers make between 2,000 and 3,000 decisions in the 98 minutes if they play the full 98 minutes of a football match. And Nathan Ferguson's issue with his decision-making is going to be, does he go full pelt for that 50-50 or that 51-49, which is no doubt what he did as a youngster, and he's an imposing individual, but does he risk it? Because one more injury for him, a lengthy injury, and that sadly could be it. One hopes against hope that nothing happens, of course, and that the young man, for he still is a young man, although only 20 games in 4 or 5 or 6 years as a fully fledged professional footballer due to successive injuries, but he's still young enough to go on. And we hope that he does, as a human being, not just as somebody potentially in a blue shirt. So the very best of luck to him. And may he make every single one of those 2,000 to 3,000 decisions the right ones. Steve Bone, for one, and there are many, is a big fan of John Swift. And in his regular slot on Pompey Sound, we asked him for more on Swift.
He's played for some good proper clubs, hasn't he? And he's played a lot of games in the Championship. Yep. Played a lot for Reading over quite a long period. I think Reading's his sort of longest stint. Yep. But at West Brom, I think he's played more than 100 games for West Brom. And weighed in with a fair few goals and assists as well, which is what you want from a midfield player, isn't it? The goals are going to have to be shared around, the assists are going to have to be shared around. So looking forward to seeing him, and he's a Gosport boy, of course, as well. So that we can't go wrong, can we? And if we're going to lose Matt Ritchie, who's also a gospel boy, then we need to get the quota up again. So, good to have him on board.
Steve Bone on John Swift, and you can hear the whole of Steve Bone's excellent piece elsewhere on Pompey Sound, or you can podcast it if you go to Pompey Sound and put in podcasts to your usual podcast platform and download the whole piece. It's about 25 minutes. Pompey are trialling a Spurs goalkeeper. Here's this one.
Several clubs, including Blackburn Rovers, Oxford United and Stoke City, have shown interest in the keeper currently on trial at Portsmouth. Pompey manager John Mousinho has confirmed that former Tottenham keeper Alfie Whiteman is training with the first team following his departure from Spurs this summer. The club is considering offering Whiteman a contract as they aim to maintain 4 keepers in their squad next season. While Isle of Wight native Stuart Moore trained with the team in Slovakia, it's now Whiteman who's joined the goalkeeping unit, making his first appearance in Tuesday's 2-0 win at Woking. Though Whiteman wasn't involved in Wednesday's 5-0 victory against Farnborough, he continues to work under goalkeeping coach Joe Perdomo. He's expected to feature in this weekend's pre-season match at Crawley, alongside Nico Schmid, Jordan Archer and Ben Killip. Mousinho explained, "We're looking to keep 4 keepers on the books. It's not just about squad depth. It's practical for training sessions, where we often run 2 small-sided games. With a step up in level this season, we need that quality across the board. And with Toby Stewart out on loan at St Johnstone, we don't want to disrupt academy sessions by pulling keepers from there." Whiteman's career has deep roots at Spurs, where he joined the academy a decade ago before signing a 3-year pro deal in 2019. He gained valuable experience during 2 loan spells with Swedish club Degerfors, racking up 34 appearances. His only first-team action for Spurs came as a substitute in a 2020 Europa League match against Ludogorets. Reflecting on his time as a backup at Spurs, Whiteman recently told The Times, "People might think it's just training and heading home early to watch Netflix, but there's so much more to it. We're constantly working on tactics, and the day after games is actually more intense for the subs than the starters. You might not see it in my Wikipedia stats, but being part of a team pushing for success, that means something. It's been an incredible experience, even if you're always dreaming of being the one out there on the pitch."
Alfie Whiteman, Pompey's 4th goalkeeper. And it doesn't sound like a headline event because he's what they call a journeyman. He talks eloquently about the challenges of being a stand-in goalkeeper, somebody who only had a brief single appearance for Spurs in his 10 years there. He talks interestingly about the fact that it's more intense for the substitutes the day after a game, presumably because those who started are doing some warming down and are being checked out and are having a fairly relaxed morning's training, whereas the subs, even if they came on for the last 20 minutes, they can be put through their paces. So there's that. But what's particularly interesting, I think, what about you, is that Pompey want to be able to have 2 short-sided games, small-sided games going on at once, and that means you've got to have 4 goalkeepers if it's going to be done with any intensity and sense of realism. So that's a good move by Pompey. It speaks well of in-depth thinking. So now we can have 4 goalkeepers, of course, standing by because injuries happen. You know, you must expect the unexpected, or as Mel Brooks says, hope for the best and expect the worst. So we're well covered as far as the green jersey goes. It's all them blue ones that we need to start sorting out. There's less than 3 weeks. No, there is just over 3 weeks to go.